Oh, my friends, it's happening! It is finally happening. So, as I've mentioned in other videos, the most recent Nintendo financial report is here. And we have gotten an update on the sales figures for Pikmin 4. And let me tell you, my friends, they are juicy. Okay, let's just get straight into it. So, Nintendo updated their list of million sellers on the Nintendo Switch. And, oh boy, Pikmin 4 is at the 33rd position. It is the 33rd best-selling first-party Nintendo Switch game. And it comes in at a whopping 3.5 million units. Pikmin 4 has sold 3.5 million units. Okay, let's get a little bit of context on this, alright? So, the previous best-selling Pikmin game was Pikmin 3 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch, which released in 2020. That game is currently at position 43 on the million sellers list. It sold 2.4 million units, which means that Pikmin 4 has outsold the best-selling game in the franchise by 1.1 million units. Oh. And this just makes me so happy. Okay? This just makes me so unbelievably happy. For a number of reasons. Because, you know, obviously, I enjoy the fact that a lot more people are finally being exposed to Pikmin. It needs it. They need it. Pikmin, it needs a bigger audience than it has. It deserves a bigger audience than it has, because they're just such wonderful games. Pikmin 4 in particular is such a spectacular game. A game that I have too many things to say about it, okay? It's like a perfect video game, in my opinion, even though I have a couple of issues with it. It is as close to perfect as a video game has ever gotten for me. So, the fact that more and more people are being exposed to this game, this series, it's only a good thing. However, it also bodes well for the series' future. I'm beginning to notice a trend in these off-the-cuff discussion videos. I like to think about the future a lot. I like to take the information that is coming to me, and I like to let my brain run wild and think about and analyze what this could mean for the future. And the fact that Pikmin 4 has sold as well as it has can only mean good things for the future of the Pikmin series. For one, it could hopefully mean that it's not another decade before we get a new Pikmin game. Pikmin 5 might be less than 10 years away, and that's exciting. That's nice. Because, you know, I only got into Pikmin in 2020. It was painful enough waiting 3 years for a new game. I could not bear to go through what veteran fans of the series have gone through. I could not stomach 10 years without new Pikmin content to latch onto, okay? I'm in it now. I understand the plight of the Pikmin fandom, having to wait like 9 years to get Pikmin 3 after Pikmin 2, and then waiting another 10 to get Pikmin 4 after Pikmin 3. I understand. And I don't want to do it. I don't want to wait 10 years for Pikmin 5. And the fact that Pikmin 4 has sold as well as it has bodes well for the future of the series. It probably hopefully, it hopefully means that we aren't going to have to wait so long. Nintendo knows that this series is financially viable now. They know that it can make them money. So hopefully, that just means we're going to get games a little bit more quickly. But what about the specifics of Pikmin 4? Because that is also a very important thing to discuss. Pikmin 4 is a highly polished, beautiful game with so much content. Pikmin 1, you can easily run through that in like anywhere between 2 and 5 hours. It's realistically not going to take you any longer than 5 hours. Even if it's your first time playing Pikmin, I think it would be difficult to get more than 5 hours out of a single run of that game. I mean, obviously, replay value, it has a lot of that. It is inherently built with like a lot of replay value thanks to the day system and all of the parts, you know. If you're trying to go for 100%, get all 30 ship parts, there is a timer there that kind of it represents how efficiently you can get that task done. And so there's a lot of replay value in that alone. Pikmin 2 was also a very, very, very meaty game, thanks in large part to the cave system, which I know a lot of people weren't super jazzed about the cave system. They didn't like it. They didn't like the fact that the game took place, like 70% of the game took place in the caves. And that's fair, you know. I don't have a number off the top of my head for how many hours Pikmin 2 would take to beat, but like, it's a fair amount. It's quite a lot. And then Pikmin 3 struck somewhat of a nice balance between the two. Nothing outstayed its welcome. I would argue that the game was maybe a little bit too short, because I want more Pikmin in my life, in my veins. Put it in me. Don't take that the wrong way. Or maybe do. I wouldn't be opposed to more Pikmin in me. Anyway, Pikmin 4 is like a 35, 40 hour long game. If you're going for 100%, which I very, very happily did, it's like 40 hours long. That's a meaty, meaty game. And not a single one of those hours felt wasted. It was all fresh and exciting content that I just had a blast working through. So if that becomes the new standard for Pikmin games, I will be a very, very, very happy boy. I mean, obviously there is merit to a shorter game, I understand that, but because of how long it takes for Pikmin games to release, I want as much fucking game as I can get my hands on. So, if Pikmin 4 sets a new precedent for how much content a Pikmin game's gonna have, sign me the fuck up, baby. If Pikmin 5 is like a 50, 60 hour long game, fine by me. Okay? So, yeah, Pikmin 4 also addressed a lot of the problems that people had with the original trilogy. It introduced a lot of new elements. It was experimental, but it stayed true to what Pikmin fundamentally is. And so I want to see that mindset applied to future games, and I hope that the sales success of this game allows that to be the case. And do you want to know another thing that I really, really like? Nintendo is different than a lot of game companies, okay? A lot of game companies would look at a game that sold 3.5 million units compared to other games on the same system that sold, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has sold near enough 63 million units. They would look at those two comparatively and say, okay, one of them is a success, one of them is a failure. But Nintendo, they don't think like that, okay? They know that Pikmin is a much smaller series. It needs a helping hand. And so they came out with a public statement saying, like, they're happy with the sale. They consider Pikmin 4 to be a sales success at 3.5 million units. And it just makes me so happy, because it means that Pikmin is doing well in Nintendo's eyes. They are not seeing it as a failure or a low-performing series. They are happy with how much it is selling. And you know what? Let's get a little bit more perspective on that, shall we? I have the top 69, the 69 million sellers, first-party million sellers up on my screen right now. Let's just real quick list all of the games that Pikmin 4 has outsold. Alright, join me on this. Number 1, Paper Mario The Origami King. It's sold better than a Mario game. Like, okay, yeah, Paper Mario is a Mario spin-off, but it's a pretty big Mario spin-off. And Pikmin 4 has outsold it. It also outsold Yoshi's Crafting World. Crafting World? Crafted World. It also outsold the Super Mario RPG remake. It outsold Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, a canonical spin-off to one of, if not the biggest Zelda game ever. One of Nintendo's biggest games, full stop. A spin-off that has a story that links to one of Nintendo's biggest games did not sell as well as Pikmin 4. Anyway, Metroid Dread. Pikmin 4 has sold better than Metroid Dread. The game that has been rumoured and talked about since 2006. Pikmin 4 sold better than it. Pikmin 4 did better than Metroid Dread. But we keep going. It did better than Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It did better than ARMS, a brand new IP at the launch of a Nintendo system. It did better than Mario Strikers Battle League. It did better than Mario Golf Super Rush. It obviously did better than Pikmin 3 Deluxe. We've talked about that pretty extensively. It did better than new Pokemon Snap, a spin-off in the single highest grossing, most important media franchise of all time. And a spin-off that people have been begging for since, the original came out in 1998? People have been begging for a new Pokemon Snap game since, the very beginning of the 2000s. And Pikmin 4 sold better than it. It also sold better than Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Pokemon Tournament DX, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, Big Brain Academy, Brain vs. Brain, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So that effectively means that Pikmin 4 has outsold every single Xenoblade game. And I know that, the sales prove it. Xenoblade objectively isn't a huge series. But come on. It's a pillar of Nintendo systems at this point. If a Nintendo system came and went without a Xenoblade game, that would be fucking crazy, okay? And Pikmin 4 has outsold every single game in that series. That's just some food for thought. It has also outsold Octopath Traveler. You know, the game that started the HD 2D renaissance that Square Enix and a lot of game companies are currently experiencing. That whole trend. Octopath Traveler was the beginning of that. And it didn't sell as well as Pikmin 4. So just think about that, okay? It has also outsold Kirby's Return to Dreamland Deluxe, Miitopia, Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door, but that makes sense because Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door is a month old, at least for this report, this financial report. It outsold Mario Kart Live Home Circuit, Fire Emblem Engage, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, all of the Nintendo Labos, I think. It only lists Nintendo Labo Variety Kit, but I assume that was the one that sold the most. Metroid Prime Remastered, WarioWare Get It Together, Astral Chain, Dr. Kawashima's Brain Training for Switch, Bayonetta, just as a franchise. It sold better than Bayonetta 1, than Bayonetta 2, and Bayonetta 3. It sold better than Princess Peach Showtime. It sold better than Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. It sold better than Game Builder Garage and Mario vs. Donkey Kong. Pikmin 4 is selling so well! And I'm so happy about it. Oh, I'm so happy about it. So, that's the video. That's the whole video. I'm so happy about how well Pikmin 4 is selling. And I've said it before, I will say it again. If you are listening to this right now, and you have not played Pikmin 4, fix that. Be better. Be a better person. And do yourself a favor. It is a wonderful, magical gaming experience, the likes of which I have never experienced before. You are doing yourself a disservice by actively not having played this game. Every minute that you continue to not have played this game is a minute of your life that is just not well spent. Okay? Go play this game. It is fucking incredible. Help us. Help this series get the audience that it truly deserves. Go play Pikmin 4. That's it. That's the whole... Go play Pikmin 4! Play Pikmin 4 now! Go and play Pikmin 4! Please play it. Please play it. Play Pikmin 4!